Gravity, pressure, momentum. Forces shape our world. Today, we'll explore words that describe physical, natural, and even social forces. With definitions, real-world examples, and engaging images, let's master the vocabulary of forces. Shear as verb. To cause something to be separated or fractured by a shearing force. To cut or clip something with scissors or shears, typically removing excess or unwanted material. The sheep were sheared of their wool before the summer months. The wind shear caused turbulence for the airplane. He sheared his hair short for the summer to stay cool. The collision sheared off part of the car's bumper. The mechanic sheared the bolt off with a wrench. Centripetal as adjective. Moving or tending to move towards a center. Operated by means of centripetal force. The string exerts a centripetal force on the ball, keeping it moving in a circular path. In a centrifuge, the centripetal force causes denser particles to move towards the center, while lighter particles move towards the periphery. The Earth's gravity exerts a centripetal force that keeps the Moon in orbit around it. The force of friction between the tires and the road provides the centripetal force necessary for a car to turn smoothly. When swinging a bucket of water in a circle, the centripetal force keeps the water from spilling out. Tension as adjective. Characterized by strain, stress, or pressure. Marked by a state of conflict, rivalry, or unease. The tension between work and family commitments weighed heavily on her mind. His tense muscles betrayed the inner tension he was feeling. The tension between the rival factions escalated into open conflict. There was a tension-filled silence as they awaited the judge's decision. The tension in the room was palpable as the two leaders engaged in heated debate. Energy is noun. The capacity or ability to do work, exert force, or produce change. The power derived from physical or chemical resources. Vitality, vigor, or liveliness. The quality of being active, dynamic, or full of life. The company invested in renewable energy sources to reduce its carbon footprint. Solar panels convert sunlight into energy that can be used to power homes and businesses. The athlete's performance was fueled by his boundless energy and determination. Meditation and yoga helped her cultivate inner energy and mental clarity. She sipped an energy drink to boost her energy levels before the race. Impulse as noun. A sudden, strong, and unreflective urge or desire to act. A spontaneous impulse. Physics. The change in momentum of a body as a result of a force acting upon it for a short period of time. In physics, impulse is calculated as the product of force and time over which it acts. She had an impulse to buy the dress as soon as she saw it in the store window. The impulse to help others in need prompted her to volunteer at the local shelter. The athlete applied a quick impulse to the ball, sending it soaring into the net. His decision to travel the world was driven by a sudden impulse to explore new places. Centrifugal as adjective. Moving or tending to move away from a center, operated by means of centrifugal force. When the car took the sharp turn, the centrifugal force pushed the passengers towards the outside. The centrifugal governor regulated the speed of the engine by adjusting the fuel supply. The centrifugal separator separated the heavier components from the lighter ones. The centrifugal pump forced water outwards from its center to the irrigation system. In a centrifugal casting process, molten metal is poured into a rotating mold to create hollow parts. Buoyancy is noun. The ability or tendency of an object to float in a liquid or rise in a fluid. the quality of being cheerful, lighthearted, or optimistic. The life jacket provided buoyancy, keeping the swimmer afloat in the water. The buoyancy of the cork made it easy to retrieve the fishing line from the water. Despite facing challenges, his buoyancy and positive attitude never wavered. The buoyancy of the helium balloon allowed it to rise into the sky. The buoyancy of her personality lifted the spirits of everyone around her. Acceleration as noun. The increase in the rate or speed of something. The rate of change of velocity per unit of time. The acceleration of technological advancements in recent years has transformed various industries. The company experienced rapid acceleration in sales after launching its new advertising campaign. In physics class, we studied the concept of acceleration and how it affects the motion of objects. The athlete's intense training regimen resulted in noticeable acceleration in their running speed. The sports car's acceleration from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 3.5 seconds is incredibly impressive. Torque is noun, a twisting force that tends to cause rotation. The measure of the force that can cause an object to rotate around an axis. The torque produced by the engine propels the car forward. The torque generated by the windmill's blades turns the turbine to produce electricity. Properly tightening the screws requires applying the correct amount of torque to prevent damage. In physics, torque is calculated as the product of the force applied and the distance from the axis of rotation. The mechanic applied torque to the bolt to loosen it from the engine. Dynamics is noun. The complex interplay of forces, factors, or elements that characterize the behavior or evolution of a system. The forces or properties that stimulate growth, development, or change within a system or situation. The team is studying the dynamics of climate change in the region. Understanding the dynamics of political power is crucial for effective governance. The family therapist helps clients understand the dynamics of their relationships. The social dynamics of the classroom affect student learning outcomes. The dynamics of the market influence investment decisions. Resilience as noun. The ability of a substance or object to spring back into shape. Elasticity. The capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. Toughness. The resilience of the human spirit is remarkable in the face of adversity. The athlete's resilience after multiple setbacks inspired others. Building materials with good resilience are essential in earthquake-prone areas. Rubber has high resilience, making it useful for shock absorption. The company's resilience during economic downturns ensured its survival. Elasticity as noun. The degree to which a variable, such as demand or price, responds to changes in another variable, such as price or income, in economics. The property of a material or substance that allows it to return to its original shape or size after being stretched, compressed, or deformed. The elasticity of supply indicates how responsive the quantity supplied is to changes in price. The elasticity of demand measures how much quantity demanded changes in response to a change in price. Economists study the elasticity of various goods and services to understand consumer behavior and market dynamics. Rubber bands have high elasticity, allowing them to stretch and then return to their original shape. The elasticity of a material determines its suitability for various applications, such as clothing or construction. Turbulence as noun. A state of confusion, disorder, or instability, upheaval or agitation, irregular or disturbed motion of air, water, or some other fluid, characterized by unpredictable changes in speed or direction. The flight encountered severe turbulence as it passed through a storm cloud. Economic turbulence caused by market fluctuations can impact global trade and investment. The ship navigated through the turbulence of the rough sea, pitching and rolling with the waves. The company weathered the turbulence of a hostile takeover attempt, emerging stronger and more resilient. The political landscape was marked by turbulence, with protests and demonstrations erupting across the country. Velocity is noun. Physics, a vector quantity representing the rate of change of position of an object with respect to time, usually expressed in meters per second, m/s, or kilometers per hour, km/h. The speed of something in a particular direction, rate of motion or progress. The car reached a velocity of 100 kilometers per hour on the highway. The velocity of the river's current increased after heavy rainfall. The velocity of a moving object can be calculated by dividing the distance traveled by the time taken. To escape Earth's gravitational pull, a spacecraft must reach a velocity of at least 11.2 kilometers per second. The velocity of sound in air varies depending on factors such as temperature and humidity. Inertia is noun, a tendency to do nothing or to remain unchanged. Physics, the resistance of any physical object to any change in its state of motion, including changes to its speed and direction. Overcoming inertia, she finally started working on her project. The company's inertia prevented it from adapting to changing market conditions. According to Newton's first law of motion, an object at rest will remain at rest unless acted upon by an external force, demonstrating the principle of inertia. Inertia kept him in his current job, even though he was unhappy. The car's inertia caused it to continue moving forward even after the engine was turned off. Momentum as noun, a crucial stage or juncture in the development or progress of something. A turning point or critical point in a situation, event, or decision. The team gained momentum after scoring the first goal. It's important to maintain momentum in your workout routine to see progress. The political candidate lost momentum after several controversial statements. The stock market has been gaining momentum in recent weeks. The company's new product release has gained significant momentum in the market. Gravity is noun, seriousness or importance, especially in a situation or topic of discussion. The force that attracts a body toward the center of the Earth or toward any other physical body having mass. The apple fell to the ground due to the force of gravity. His tone of voice conveyed the gravity of the decision they were facing. The judge emphasized the gravity of the crime and handed down a severe sentence. The astronauts experienced zero gravity during their space mission. The gravity of the situation became apparent when they realized the extent of the damage. Impulse as verb, to act on or affect by impulsive or sudden motion. To give an impulse to stimulate, incite, or urge forward. The sudden noise impulsed the startled bird to take flight from its perch. The motivational speaker's words were meant to impulse the audience to take action towards their goals. The strong gust of wind impulsed the kite higher into the sky. The sudden burst of adrenaline impulsed him to sprint towards the finish line. His passionate speech impulsed a wave of activism among the crowd. Nuclear is adjective, pertaining to or characteristic of the nucleus of an atom, involving the central core or center of something, relating to or involving atomic nuclei, nuclear energy, or nuclear reactions, especially those involving fission or fusion. The scientists conducted experiments to study the behavior of nuclear particles at high energies. The treaty aims to prevent the proliferation of nuclear weapons and promote disarmament. The nuclear explosion resulted in widespread devastation and long-term environmental damage. The nuclear family typically consists of parents and their dependent children living together in one household. The country's energy policy includes plans for expanding its nuclear power capabilities. Level up your English. Master vocabulary, idioms, and phrasal verbs with fun quizzes. Translate meanings into 104 languages. Download now. Link in the description. Please like and subscribe to our channel.